So what's up, guys? Staying here from Rocky Creek. Welcome back to the Homestead. If you're new to our channel, welcome. We're glad to have you. And if you're returning with us, thank you. We appreciate your consistency and your commitment to our channel. What we're doing right now is we're down here getting ready to go into the chicken coop area. And in our last video, I shared with you how the goose is turning out to be a great protector of our flock, particularly our young, kind of pullet aged hens that we're raising and have been integrating inside of their coop within a dog crate. Well, actually just 2 nights ago, I came out here in the middle of the night and I opened the cage to the crate to allow the pullets to go ahead and start integrating with the rest of the flock when the coop door opened up, in hopes that they would go back in the coop at night on their own. And by luck would have it, it worked out great. But there's one thing that has happened that's good, but it's kind of creating some issues. Is the goose, ever since we have allowed those chickens out for some freedom, I'm assuming it's a her, I'm not 100% sure still, its protective instincts have increased dramatically, to the point that yesterday when I was trying to give feed to the pullets, it actually came at me and it struck the cage. Luckily it didn't actually get to me. The goose is definitely cranked up and on extra patrol right now. But what we need to do is we need to get in there and we need to clean out that coop. The coop hasn't been touched in a while because of the integration. And so we want to get some fresh bedding in there. We want to get some DE or diatomaceous earth in there. And we also want to get the nesting boxes refilled. So I'm hoping we can do this without some drama with the goose. And I also need to get the crate that the pullets are in out of there as well. So hopefully we can get this done without any major drama with the goose. Hopefully don't get attacked. If I do, maybe you'll get to see it on camera and it might give you a good laugh. But we're gonna hope everything will go smooth. But I'm gonna grab a rake and we're gonna get in there and we're gonna start getting to work on this. See if you can see them. They tend to hang out in the coops though most of the time. They are coming out and about a little bit, but there they are, running around, doing just fine. All right, so first thing first, let's get the crate out of here where we had the chicks at. This was what I had their feeder hanging from. This was their makeshift roosting bar. The great thing about this shed we turned coop is this big side access door, which makes scraping out and cleaning up this coop super easy. So one of the biggest struggles we've had with trying to integrate the pullets into our flock since having this coop is getting them to go in at night. And we started out, we used to do the dog crate in the run area, and I think by putting it inside this coop for about 2 weeks worked out really well because they really look at this as being their safety area. And so I think that's really helped with getting them in here. Now I did have to put them their own food and water in there. I don't typically keep food and water in my coops, but I did for these guys because they were shy about leaving. But there were about 3 of them hanging out quite a bit yesterday. So I have confidence that they should go back tonight. At least we're gonna hope that's the case, because I'm pretty sure when I start raking in there, they're all probably gonna come running out, but we'll see how it goes. So when I clean out the coop, the area over here near the nesting boxes actually gets very little soil. Most of the soil is obviously underneath the roosting bars and kind of right through this area towards the door, because that's where they hang out the most. Sometimes I get a little bit here where you see the sun coming in through the window. Like actually one of the pullets was sunbathing right there. So instead of making this a complete waste, what I do is I sort of shift these shavings over here to where I mostly need them, where I have a lot of droppings, and then I'll kind of put my new ones here, and I kind of create this cycle of here and then out of the actual coop. That's just something that I do, just so I'm not really wasting. But before I shift the shavings over, is I got the little shaker thing of diatomaceous earth. Now it is way cheaper to buy the big bag, but I buy one shaker thing and then I just keep filling it up with the big bag after that point. But we're going to go ahead and sprinkle some of that down here on the base level floor and get it through here before we move the shavings over. What's up, guys? Watch it. All right, now that we've shifted the shavings to the back, now I'll go ahead and bring in the bag and we'll get all this loaded down and spread out. So now that we got the floor all done, we're just going to get what little bit is in these nesting boxes out. For the most part, they're empty. I did just sprinkle some diatomaceous earth in them to let that sit. And I like to get it on the roosting handles. That way the chickens, it's kind of a good flat surface, and the chickens can get some of that DE powder on their legs and feet, which can help reduce them from getting mites and things like that. We had a couple eggs break in here a couple weeks back before I closed them off when I put the crate in here, and I cleaned all that debris out, but now I really just got some dust and a little bit of pine shavings left over, and most of it's diatomaceous earth, like I said, so I'll just let that sift in with all this bedding. It's all good and dry, so it won't bother nothing. But believe it or not, I'm not a fan of using pine shavings in the nesting boxes. I find that the chickens can't really make a good nest, which results in a lot more broken eggs, which ends up being nasty nesting boxes. I really like to use hay, ideally, but then also straw. And as we head towards the winter months, I like to use a lot of straw in my animal pens. So I'm gonna put some straw in here and let them have that for their bedding or for their nest making for the time being. So I'm gonna grab a couple handfuls of that, shove it in there pretty good, and then they'll do the job of making their nest with it. You already checking it out, Starfire? So as you can see, got a nice good base of straw, and you saw Starfire already checking it out. And the chicken will get in there, they'll make their nice little bowl and nest, and that'll give good protection for the eggs and keep them centered there. So we got 7 total pullets. There's 5 still in here, so that means 2 of them did venture out, but we got the new fresh bedding put in. We got diatomaceous earth spread throughout, and the nesting boxes are now back open for business, so the chickens can start using those. As you can see, is already happening as we speak. So now I need to make sure they got feed and water. I switched out the pan for this feed pan, which is shallow, and it's kind of spread throughout. You can see there's a lot of waste there, but the pullets can easily get to both the pan and all that stuff around it, so I'm not concerned about that. but our typical water, which is filthy right now, I'm worried that they're not going to be able to reach those cups, are too high. So we're going to do two things right now. First thing is I'm going to take a couple of these old 4x4s I got, and I'm just going to lay them right up against this so they can really jump up here if they want to, and then it's within good height for them. But then also I'm just going to take our old ramp that we had for the chickens before this one was too narrow for the goose, and I'm just going to go ahead and set it close by as well. There, that's a good solid base. And then we'll just set a traditional style water here for them. Of course the other chickens are going to use it too, so no big deal, but I want it sort of close to this water just because as they're drinking here it may entice them to try out this one or to try to mess with it, so they kind of have a general idea of this is where water is going to be. So we'll put them both right here, and we'll use this until I see them consistently using this one, and then we'll phase this one out from there. But this will at least make sure that that they got plenty of water to have on hand. Y'all look at that. Q-Tip Jr. getting that straight sunshine on. No, it's not dead. No, it's perfectly okay. This is what they like to do. And they want to get their sunning on. See, look, as I get closer, it'll hop right up. Gotta love it. Q-Tip 2.0. Girl, your hair looking marvelous. You sunbathing too, Starfire? Trying to get your dust bath in at the same time? Yeah, I understand it, girl. So guys, I got pretty lucky. I was actually very shocked that the goose really didn't pay no mind to what I was doing in there, because I'm telling you, the other day when I went in there to feed, luckily the door to the crate was opened up where it couldn't really get to me. There was only about this much space to get around, and I mean, it struck and hit that door, and the door came in and just kind of bumped me. It didn't hurt or nothing. Really, it just kind of catches you off guard a little bit. So, you know, I was a little worried, like, hey, is she gonna be too protective? But it ended up working out pretty good. And we were able to do this clean out, because I really thought I was gonna have some issues with this clean out, but I'm really glad that we were able to get it done. Now we got some other cleanup that we need to do here in this coop area, but the big thing was I wanted to get that crate out of there so these chickens can start to have the whole area to really start settling in, get them to start roosting with the other chickens, and hopefully tonight they'll go back in with no problems, just like they did the last 2 nights. It's pretty neat to watch, is that there'll be 1 or 2 that kind of can't figure out how to get back up there. And you would see one of the little pullets come out just through the door, chirping really loud, almost like, hey guys, up here. And then you would see the little chicken jump up and they'd all go inside, and it worked out really well. I was very thankful for that, because I was worried about having to dig them out from underneath the coop. We've made it 2 nights so far with no issues. Hopefully we'll continue that route. I'm hoping moving the crate out doesn't mess them up too much. So that's why I kind of limited how much I'm doing today, because I don't want to overstress them. And I wanted them to have a lot of time today to really explore what's going on. We're probably about 2 o'clock or so right now, to be my guess of what time it is. So we got about 5 hours before it starts to get dark. So that'll give them plenty of time to start to figure out kind of this area, explore it, and hopefully figure out how to get back in that coop tonight. So guys, if you're trying to figure out a good way to integrate your pullets into your big flock, if you don't have a dog crate, start looking on Craigslist or like Marketplace or something, and try to find you one for cheap. Crates are kind of expensive new, but I see them oftentimes on sale pages for $25 or so. And putting them in a crate inside with your big chickens works out really good. Minimal pecking. They kind of figure out where they need to be, and it keeps them safe, and it works out really well and takes a lot of stress out of the game. So guys, I know this isn't a whole lot today, just a little simple cleanup in the coop and trying to get these guys integrated and give you an update, but I hope maybe you were able to learn something, or you just found it interesting seeing how these guys are developing alongside the goose here. But if you have any questions about raising chickens, feel free to reach out to us at any time. I'll try to answer you as soon as I can. But guys, I hope you've enjoyed your time with us. We appreciate you coming along. I'm gonna go take some rest of this straw up just to the pigs to give them some extra warmth as the temperatures are dropping tonight. But until then guys, y'all be good, and we'll see you here really soon on one of our next episodes. Thanks guys.